This is really bad. The Pittsburgh Steelers star defensive end Cameron Heyward will miss multiple weeks, and by reports by Gary Dulac, it says he can miss up to 8 weeks after having surgery on a groin injury he sustained in the first half against the 49ers on Sunday. So, like I said, many people have been reporting, like Ian Rappaport, Gary Dulac, Brooke Pryor, and many more. They say it's going to be multiple weeks, but Gary Dulac's report says he could miss up to 8 weeks and that he is going to repair it with surgery. Usually with an injured groin, most people, like if you remember TJ Watt when he was dealing with a groin injury when he got 22.5 sacks 2 seasons ago, if you remember, he missed a couple games and he would like miss a half, but he would still bounce back kind of the next week and play and kind of test it out. But I guess Cameron Heyward's is so bad that he has to get surgery on it and repair it, and he's going to be out multiple weeks. So the Steelers are going to miss him at defense line because just watching yesterday's game, Cameron Heyward, when he was out of the game, it seems like the 49ers are just running down the Pittsburgh Steelers' throats and were able to do whatever they wanted on offense, especially in the running game. That's when Christian McCaffrey broke off his long run and was able to get over 100 yards rushing. It was all when Cameron Heyward was out of the game. Yes, the first few drives, it was kind of bad as well, but especially after Cameron Heyward left the game, that's when it got really worse, and that's when the blowout happened. So, Cameron Heyward missing time is going to be disappointing for the Steelers defense because looking at the defensive line right now, Larry Ogunjobi all week, he was kind of limited with an ankle injury, and on Sunday, he wasn't even announced as a starter coming into the game. DeMarvin Leal was named as a starter, and Larry Ogunjobi was the backup. I guess they're kind of trying to limit Larry Ogunjobi's snaps because he's also injured and dealing with an injury. So the Steelers' defensive line is already dealing with injuries early on, and it's not looking too good because the Steelers spend most of their money on their defense line, on the edge rushers. Their highest paid defense is basically just the defensive line. They don't spend as much on the defensive backs. The defense line is where they spend the big bucks. For example, Cameron Heyward, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Larry Ogunjobi. They spend money on those 4 guys to sustain the run game and hold down the run game, but also to rush the passer. But now, with Cameron Heyward being out, the Steelers are going to have to look to the young guys to fulfill his role. For example, looking at the Steelers' depth chart right now, behind Cameron Heyward, obviously, hopefully, Larry Ogunjobi gets back to being healthy, but now we might see Armon Watts play more, we might see Keanu Benton play more, DeMarvin Leal, and even more guys like Isaiah Loudermilk. You may even see Braden Fiocco get called up from the practice squad to fulfill the run game. When he was with the Chargers, he's really good at stopping the run, and just this Sunday, the Steelers had a really hard time without Cameron Heyward stopping the run. So you may even see Braden Fiocco get called up from the practice squad and fulfill the role as kind of that run stuffer in the middle of the field on running downs. The Steelers all around, you're not going to replace Cameron Heyward. Even though he's 34 years old and he should be declining, last season he had the second most sacks in his career in a season. So even though he should be declining at his age, he's not. He's still able to be a good defender, both run game and pass game. So you're not going to replace Cameron Heyward with one person. You're going to have to help and have the whole team, the whole defense, kind of help sustain that hole in the Steelers' defense that you're not going to have with Cameron Heyward there. When Cameron Heyward's there, you know you're going to have someone to be able to stuff the run and also to rush the passer. And without him, the whole team's going to need to step up, not just one person. Speaking of people stepping up, Keanu Benton, he should be receiving more snaps. I know he's not really considered a defensive end, and he's listed as a nose tackle, defensive tackle for the Steelers, but he's a guy who could see more snaps, and drafted in the second round, he should be seeing more snaps, because obviously they like his potential, they like what he did in college, and picking someone in the second round, that means that they should be ready to play kind of right out the gate. So he didn't really have to, because all the people that are ahead of him, especially being veterans and experienced and good in this league, but now, with Cameron Heyward being out multiple weeks and maybe up to 8 weeks after having surgery on his groin, Keanu Benton's going to see more snaps. And just looking at the outside options for the Steelers, maybe the Steelers have a trade in their hands and maybe Omar Khan makes a trade with another team, getting a defensive end, knowing that Cameron Heyward's going to be out for a while and the Steelers need to have someone to plug and play. Or maybe they look out to free agents. Maybe they call up JJ Watt. Maybe TJ Watt calls JJ Watt and says, hey, come play. I know JJ Watt says that he doesn't want to come back and he's not in football shape, but maybe, just maybe, now with Cameron Heyward being out and him knowing that he would come in and be the starter and play a lot, maybe, just maybe, he comes and plays. I know that's not a valuable option and you can't rely on that and it might not happen. That's very far-fetched, but maybe the Steelers reach out to him and maybe he decides to come and play with his brother being lined up right next to him. So the Steelers, they're going to have to look at outside options. They're going to have to look at inside options and evaluate where their team's going to be headed, because that's a big piece going to be missing for the defense. Just looking at the Steelers' games they have coming up in the next few weeks, just looking at the 8 weeks that he's projected to miss, based off Gary Dulack's report, their next game is against the Cleveland Browns. And what does Cleveland Browns like to do? They like to run the football. They have one of the best running backs in the league with Nick Chubb, and that's where their whole game plan starts. Running up the middle, running stretch plays, halfback dives with Nick Chubb, and running the ball down your throats and wearing you out. And now with Cameron Heyward being out, that's going to be a hard game, and it's going to be even harder now with him out. Looking at their next game, Las Vegas Raiders after the Browns. What does Raiders want to do? They want to run the ball with Josh Jacobs. They don't want to have Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball as much, even though they do have Devontae Adams. They want to run the ball straight ahead, halfback stretches with Josh Jacobs. So those are 2 games that you have that the running backs and the team just wants to run the ball. And then in 4 weeks, you have the Baltimore Ravens coming up. And we all know that's Baltimore Ravens' game plan. Run the ball with Lamar Jackson, run the ball with their halfbacks. Even though J.K. Dobbins is now out for a season, they just want to run the ball. They don't want to have to pass the ball. They don't have to put Lamar Jackson in situations. They want to run the ball. And it's always a close game. And the Steelers' AFC North opponents are always close games. And that always comes down to the run game. So Cameron Heyward not being there for that game is also going to hurt. So those are 3 games I just named and 3 teams that want to run the ball within the next 4 weeks. And Cameron Heyward, even if he doesn't miss all 8 and he misses 6, he's still going to be missing all 4 of those games. Meaning that the Steelers are going to have a hard time with their schedule lined up with the teams that want to run the ball more than they want to pass the ball. It's going to be really hard, but we all know anything could happen on any given Sunday. And if the Steelers defense steps up and the Steelers offense steps up, there's no reason why they shouldn't win the game. One person being out, even though it's a superstar in Cameron Heyward, someone who may potentially make a Hall of Fame, even though he's going to be out, any given Sunday, any team could win. But with that being said, let me know down in the comments below, how do you feel about Cameron Heyward missing time, approximately 2 months being missed with the team? Do you think it will affect the team a lot, especially their defense? Do you think everyone is going to have to step up? Who do you think is going to see more playing time? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well, so you get notified when I post next Steelers video. I cover everything: news, rumors, reports, analysis, and even injury updates. So, with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.